Hello, scientists. I want to talk to you today about resistors. So you already turn and talk with your neighbors about what we might use these for, why we might want to reduce the amount of current in a circuit. And now you're going to learn about these specific color codes and how we can learn about the resistance of something just by looking at these four color bands. Manufacturers make resistors with values ranging from a few ohms to a few million ohms. The small size of most resistors makes it difficult to print legible numbers on them to indicate their values. To overcome this problem, manufacturers devised a color code to indicate the amount of resistance provided by each resistor. Each resistor has at least 4 bands of color on it. To read a 4-band resistor, rotate it so that the metallic band is on the right. Beginning with the band nearest the end of the resistor, note the color and write down the corresponding number from the code. Do the same with the second band. Now you have a 2-digit number. Identify the color and corresponding number of the third band. The third band represents a power or exponent of 10. Multiply the 2-digit number by 10 raised to the number represented by the third band. This gives the value of the resistance. The fourth band indicates the tolerance of the resistance value or estimated error due to variances in the manufacturing. So that was a lot of information. We're going to break it down. I want to start here at the end with tolerance. So on our resistors and our examples that we'll see, you have 2 different color bands here, a gold band and a silver band. Those are our fourth band. Here's a gold one. This tells you about tolerance or error. So essentially, when manufacturers make these little resistors, they say, look, I'm pretty sure that this is the value of the resistor. It's this many ohms. However, it's anywhere within plus or minus 5% of that number or 10% of that number. So if you have a resistor with a 5% tolerance, you are pretty sure within 5% of whatever this value is, that that's how many ohms it is. If you have a resistor with a silver tolerance, you're within 10% of this value. So a gold is a little bit better. You have a little bit more precision in how many ohms you have than a silver. So this example in your book, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and then we'll do some other examples in a PowerPoint. But you can see here's our resistor color code. And we look at the first digit. So the first band is green. So I look down here, green means 5. So they wrote a 5. My second band is blue. So blue, 6. So I have 5, 6. My third band, I have to go into this other column because this is my multiplier. This is saying how big it is, really. So here, if my third band is red, I go down here and I'm multiplying 56 times 10 to the second, or 100. So 56 times 100. So now my total resistance is 5,600 ohms. And my fourth band tells me that it's plus or minus 5%. So we're going to do a few examples together. These 2 examples are not on your handout. They're just some additional ones that we'll do before we go to your handout. So here is on the right, the color codes from your textbook, page 48. And then I've also just done the math for us on what the third band would be if we remove that exponent. So if we have red, it's times 100. If we have orange, it's times 1,000. Yellow is times 10,000. So let's look at this example. My first band is brown. So looking at my color code, I write a 1. My second band is green. So by my color code, I write a 5. And then the third band is orange. So your multiplier here means you have to look at the third column. In the third column, orange means 10 to the third or 1,000. So what I'm saying is that this resistor is 1, 5 times 1,000. And my tolerance is just 5%. So I multiply 15 times 1,000 and I get 15,000 ohms plus or minus 5%. These 2 resistors are the very same. I've just changed the orange band to red in this next example. So brown is still 1, Oops, that should be a 5. Green is still 5. This is 100. Tolerance is 5%. And it is 1,500 ohms plus or minus 5%. So again, if this is a 5 like it's supposed to be, it's 15 times 100, 1,500. All right, now we're going to some examples that are on your handout. So I want you to follow along with me on your handout, and we'll do a couple together. And then if you want to do a few on your own, you can. So resistor 1 for brown, 0 for black. Now my third column, black, you have to make sure that you're in the third band. Okay, so it'd be 1, so 10 times 1, and then my tolerance is gold, 5%. So the total resistance here, 10 times 1, 10 ohms, plus or minus 5%. Okay, down here, I know I have a 1 again. Red is 2. Black is 1. Tolerance is 5%. So I have 12 ohms, plus or minus 5%. So I'm going to pause for 30 seconds and give you a chance to write this down. All right. Next example. You have resistor C. First band is brown, so I have a 1. My second band is gray, so I have an 8. My third band is black, so I have a 1. And my fourth band is gold, so I have 5% tolerance. Last one, you guys are probably pros by now. Brown. Oops, sorry, 18 ohms, plus or minus 5%. Brown is a 1. Green is a 5. Black is a 1. And my tolerance is 5%. So the total reading for this resistor is 15 plus or minus 5%. On the back, there are some questions for you to answer. You'll notice the first two, I've given you the resistance and I'm asking you to tell me what the color bands would be. So we can do that first one together. So the first one is draw a 77 ohm resistor with 5% tolerance. So on the back of yours, number 1 says draw a 77 ohm resistor with 5% tolerance. So what we'll do is we'll kind of work backwards. So I have my blanks here, and I'm going to draw my resistor color code here in this box. So it's a 77 ohm resistor and 5% tolerance. So I'm going to look, my first digit is a 7. So on my color code, that means my first band better be purple. My second digit is also a 7. So my second band is also purple. Now for my third digit, I have to figure out what do I need to multiply this by in order to get 77. Well, this is already 77, so I only need to multiply it by 1. I don't want to change the number. If I want to multiply it by 1, then it's black. Okay, my third band is black, and then with my tolerance, it is 5%, so it's gold. So that's how you kind of work backwards. Work on the practice problems on the back of your handout, and there is a key on Schoology.